What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Thursday morning to all of you. 9:01 a.m. here in San Jose, Costa Rica. You're watching Betting with the Bag, and what a day it was yesterday, man. First off, shout out to our guy, original low bagger, Ralph Portwando. 3 plays he was on yesterday. Oakland run line, Angels run line, Dodgers run line, cash, cash, cash. But for me, I started out the day 0-5, down 5.8 something units. And I was in the dumps. I was wallowing in self-pity. And then Flipper13 commented on the show. And I told him that my dad in the past called me a schmuck. And that how it affected me. And Flipper13 said, I'd rather be called a schmuck from my biological dad than have my stepdad expose his balls to me, implying he's ready to bang my mom. And when he said that, we started talking about each other's moms in a very sexual way. And I turned it all around. Winner after winner after winner after winner after winner. I was 8-1 until that Giants team total over didn't go over the 2.5, stuck at 2. 8-2 to clean everything up. All the mistakes of the morning cleaned up, and I come to work pumped. We have Babano on the show in 38 minutes, and I'm ready to keep the winners coming. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. We got Buzzo TV. We got Jonathan Succi, Vinny Cornell. Jonathan Succi said, I hope y'all actually listened to me and took the Cubbies last night. I knew Giolito would finally get touched, as did I. Jonathan Succi doubled up on that game. Cubbies on the -1 line, as well as the over 7-2. Easy. My guy, Jose Contreras, Jerry Beatty, Matt Randall. Tank play of the day, U.S. Sweden over 2.5. Full game. Get right day. 43-20-1, and the guy needs to get right day. Matt Randall, Taint play of the day, USA Sweden over 2.5. Full game. I will copy and paste Matt Randall's Taint play of the day. Here we go. Copy and paste her. But Jonathan Succi's not on it. Jonathan Succi says no. Jonathan Succi doing a very dangerous thing. Competing with the Taint. Very, very dangerous. Eddie Euler, 8-1-1 my last 10 MLB. Total 6 for 6 MLB over under parlay last night. Wow, Eddie Euler. Eddie Euler, Tease in the house. We got Carlos Peroge. Carlos Peroge ready to get to work. Shadow, my guy Shadow said, oh, damn, took a beating yesterday. Parlay left. How many parlays did you hit in a row? Went 2-4, but hit Chicago run line. Beautiful and pick game over. Helped a little. Hoping for a good day today. We will get that back for you, Shadow. We got Doug Barnhouse ready to go. Mr. Gokster. I was on the Sports Keg with Mr. Gokster last night. Man, I love that guy. We have Jorge, don't play. Ilya Katz. Love it. Juan Ruiz in the house. Ty Clinton. Tomi no Tomo, Sky covered easily. Liberty team is garbage. Speaking of Sky covering, and I'm very, very small sample size. But you want to pop up that WNBA record? Very small sample size for me. Very small. But, we're off and running. We are off and running in WNBA. Little double up there. The only problem was I was scared to take the over in the end, and I didn't bet it. So I only bet the Sky on the money line. I got plus 120 here on the show. I bet it at plus 115. But there we go. Tom Marino saying Sky covered easy. Liberty team is garbage. Rockstar ready to go. Anthony Hollis started 1-5. Oh, finished 3-7. Brutal. We can change that around. Poker Addicted says, what show is this? Betting with the Bag, my guy. Guillermo ready to get to work. JC Alvarez ready to get to work. Joseph Gomez. We got B-Ball. Eddie Euler saying Women's World Cup, Canada, Netherlands draw. Robert Haywood says, I need some World Cup plays. Well, you're in the right spot. We have the Taint play of the day, and we have Jonathan going against it. And then we just have Eddie Euler taking the draw in Canada, Netherlands. All right. Doug Barnhouse also liking the over. Gerardo Hernandez ready to go. We got Northside Gambling Channel. We got Anil Frank. Jorge don't play says don't bet anymore. WNBA. Just leave it like that. I like that. Matt Randall says tail the sky. Thanks. That was teamwork. That was all us together. I should not take the anything for that. Greatest ever says good morning. Won 1,000 last night. Love it. Greatest ever. Love it. There's Dan Kelly. Dan Kelly in the house, and we love. There's Jam Man. Oh my guys. I'm pumped on a Thursday morning. I am pumped on a Thursday morning. Art Hayes ready to go. Noli knows. Doug Barnard says, love the Taint. Bet it last night. Yeah, Taint's still 43-21. Neo Money ready to get to work. Says, teamwork makes the dream work. We got Illy's fired up too. Man, I'm fired up. Everything could have gone wrong. Everything. I was 0-5. The breakdown was coming. I had come so close. I got to down 6 units on the season in MLB, and I was just throwing it all away. And then I saved the day with some winners. I love it. I absolutely love it. Matt Randall thinks there could be 4 or 5 goals. Torment said, I think the values of Canada, Netherlands won. The Euros don't have as strong of a midfield. Anil Frank says, crushed it last night. Angels, Rockies, Dodgers, plus some soccer winners. We have a huge day today. For the morning show, we got Babano, but on the late show, Dave Mason from Bet Online, we're going to talk NBA draft props. So we got Dave Mason coming on the late show, Dave Mason from Bet Online. Then we have Anna Merrick ready to get to work. He's coming off a big. Oh, I guess no. So two UFCs ago was a huge winner, but he's rolling. He's rolling in UFC, so we're gonna have him as well. Alex Malbury says, "I'll have whatever Jimmy's drinking." Man, you don't need to drink when you get the. Listen, I was 0-5 down just under 6 units when I started, like halfway through that late show, and I thought, am I going to go back? Is just everything going to fall apart? And I made up. I only was down 0.10 units. The record's still ugly. Don't get me wrong. Can we pop up that record? Rafa, my guy, pop up that record. There we go. 259, 265. Ugly still, but much better than it could have been. There's my guy, Dom Ricci. There he is. Okay, El Duque says Rockies over 9. And Matt Reynolds says, El Duque, I love that play. 8.5s are out there. Nice. El Duque, Rockies over 9, and Matt Randall loving that play. And Gerardo Hernandez said, I said Mexico was going to win 3-1. Nice work. Remo says, cool shirt. Thank you. That's the BC Lions. And the rat-faced assassin, Louis Pisaglia on the back. The rat-faced assassin with the golden foot. Our guy, Louis. Okay. Let's get to work. Douglas Robinson says, be better today, Jimmy. Come on. I fixed everything yesterday. Be better today. 8-2? Should have been 8-1. I thought the Giants for sure were going to get to that over. But it was gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I was in the throes of failure, and I got my way out of it. Just quick recap. Start the day with losers. After Rays first half, Rays full game. Phillies first 5. Milwaukee, San Diego under 8.5. KC, Seattle first 5, under 5. 5 losers. Then I go on a tear. Angels first 5. Angels minus 1.5. Cubs on the -1 line. Chicago White Sox, Cubs over 7. Indians first 5. Indians full game. Boston, Minnesota over 9. Then I lose with the Diamondbacks first 5 -0.5. Hit with San Francisco LAD over 7.5, and then lose Giants team total over. Rolling. Matt Randall said, Jimmy, we smashed the Cubs breakdown yesterday. We did. Antoine Seymour says, catch last night with the Sky money line. Jimmy, Leche. Okay, let's get to work. Poppy Longwood says, Jimmy, do you know Dave Mason personally? I do have the pleasure of knowing him personally, and I love the guy. Absolutely great guy. Okay, let's get to work. There's Xavier Oliver. Okay, we're going to be joined in 31 minutes by Bobano, so let's hammer this baseball card right now. And we have 2 afternoon games. I have the lineups here. Let's talk market moves, and let's get us some winners. Here we go. Indians, Rangers. It was very easy yesterday. When we talk about these guys, AA and AAA stats, we know that the PCL, you have a guy with a 5 ERA who can be lights out. And we saw that with Logan Allen 2 days ago. Or was he? We saw that with Logan Allen with the Padres 2 days ago, yeah. And then yesterday, we cashed fading a pitcher who'd been pitching in AA. And I swear the key stat for me is walks. This guy yesterday for the Rangers, he'd walked 26 guys in about 51 innings in Double-A. What's he going to do with a patient, hot-hitting team like the Indians? Indians put up 5 runs in the first inning. I should have been on the first 5 team total over. But instead, I cashed first 5 full game. All good. Let's talk about this situation. Bieber, Mike Minor. Indians offense is rolling. Will they slow down because Mike Minor is facing them? There has been a 11-cent move towards the Texas Rangers. Let's take a quick look at totals. Quick look at totals here. Here we go. The total opened at 9, and it was juiced to minus 115 to the over. It's now juiced under at minus 113, so a move there. We got Dave L.A. plays for today. Diamondbacks minus 1. Giants money line. Astros money line. Indians money line. Reds team total over 4.5. I like it. There's Res Mob in the house. Okay. Dom Ricci leaning Oakland to the series. And Dan Kelly says Cleveland, Texas on MLB TV this afternoon. Viper MB says, I'm on Indians minus 1. Huge. Jared Trader talking CFLs on Ottawa minus 4.5. That's a good find. They're now at 5.5. I kind of have a sneaking suspicion that 5.5 might be too many points, even though we don't know a lot about the quarterback situation really for either team. And we're going to talk about that more with Babano. But with Fajardo, I mean, how much do we know about him? I mean, those of you who followed the Wolfpack will remember him, but I don't know a lot about Cody Fajardo, so we're going to have to study that more. And even Dominique Davis. To be honest with you, I think the Rough Riders can cover this 5.5. I think no, it says Dodgers first to 50 and just beat the Cubs 3-4, and Dave L.A. yawning. I love it. I love it. Jorge, don't play says I see value with the Bieber over 6.5 Ks. Let's take a quick look at lineups here. Cleveland, Texas. Oh, it's still expected. I was hoping we'd have a... Okay, we have no confirmed lineup, so let's just ditch that whole idea for these morning shows. Elliot V saying Minor is a man. Eddie Euler was leaning Green Riders plus 5.5, and I know they haven't won since, haven't beaten Ottawa, I believe, since 2017 playoffs, but I'm leaning that way too. Viper MB saying Minor will regress. 91 Fahrenheit, 13 miles per hour in, and we know that wind is not, it doesn't mean as much here in this ballpark. Indians 19-17 on the road. Rangers nice home record at 25-14. Bieber 6-2, 3.92 ERA, 1.09 WHIP, 85 innings, 108 Ks, 21 walks. Minor 6-4, 2.63 ERA, 1.18 WHIP, 95 2/3, 99 Ks, 32 walks, 11 home runs allowed. And Dan Kelly says, I have a hunch that Ramirez is about to break out of his slump. Wait till he does, and this team will be absolutely destroying. Indians won 10-14, scored 10 runs each of the past 2 games. Kipnis is firing on all cylinders. There's our guy DJ, big boss in the house. Viper MB says Indians lineup is up. See if I can refresh this. Oh, I don't have Indians, but I have Rangers lineup is up now. Rangers lineup: Chu, Santana, Andrews, Cabrera, Calhoun, Odor, DeShields, Guzman. That's an ugly lineup. That is an ugly lineup. For show 94 in the house. As I told you, Miami's still partying from the other night. Nice work. R.A. says Minor's looking good last 3, and Texas got hitters. That's not a very good lineup for them. Eddie Waller says Bieber, Minor, lean under. And Brandon Lugo's right. That total did move up to 9. I saw people hammering it when it was at 8.5. And then let's look at the first 5 totals here. Under 5. Under 5 first half is somewhat appealing. Under 5, but it's Texas, and the Indians' offense is rolling. The Indians are now hitting 237, 719 OPS versus lefties. That keeps going up. Bieber looks to win his 5th straight decision, struck out 12 and 7 2/3 while beating the Tigers on Saturday. Allowed 2 runs, 4 hits, walked 1. He's fan 10 or more in 3 of the last 6 outings, and we already heard Jorge don't play like in the over 6.5 strikeout prop. I get that. This guy's just raking in the strikeouts. Minor, 5th in the American League with that 2.63 ERA. Snapped a 4-star winless streak on Saturday. Defeated the Reds. Minor allowed 3 runs, 4 hits, and 6 1/3. You're right. That is a little worse for him. That's a little worse for him. Dom Ricci will be right back. Says, take it now. It will go to 9.5. Yeah, Dom Ricci. John Stucci said, Jimmy, when you're heading to Miami, thinking about driving the Tundra from Texas down? Yes. Gas guzzler again. Yes, Jonathan Tucci. We're going to confirm the hotel by Friday, so that's tomorrow. But it is August. We will be there for the whole week. A lot of guys are flying in on the Wednesday, but we will be there for the whole week. August 18th, Sunday, August 18th to Sunday, August 25th. We'll be there. R.A. says, who's missing from that Texas lineup? Well, their 2 biggest hitters. by far. Gallo and Mazzara are missing from this Texas lineup. It's not a very strong Texas lineup. I mean, it's as weak as I've ever seen it all year. Even though Chu's rolling. Let's see if we can see an Indians lineup here. I still don't get one. I still don't have an Indians lineup here. There's Nutflush Allen, our guy. Okay. I like the Indians here to take care of business. But Miners being very good. I like that Bieber prop. I'm going to see what I get in my book. Now, the strikeout guys, the guys who strike out a lot, aren't actually in this lineup. And you know what? That would take more studying for me, and a different type of studying. Robert Haywood said Hunter Pence. There's three. There's three guys not in the lineup. Man. Dan Kelly said in the upper 90s for a day game in Arlington. Yeah, very humid as well. Black Rogue says better for the under. I guess the under does slightly concern me in this ballpark. You know, and I don't know if I want to go against the move. Eddie Euler, that total is now down to 43.5. I think we take the over, Eddie. I mean, Dominique Davis is the perfect over quarterback. He throws a ton of picks, and he can get touchdowns. He just put up 32 points against the Stamps. Threw 4 picks in that game. Eddie Euler, the further this goes down, the more I like it. But we'll talk with Babano about that. Christopher Comentini says, what is Miners X-FIP? I do not have that in front of me right now. I do not have that statistic in front of me. I apologize, Christopher, but somebody in the chat can pull that back. R.A. says, I'm with you if Texas is missing their best hitter, and it's hitters. Bob Taylor said, my book stopped putting out K-props because people are beating them. Anyway, said, I think so too. 44 is winner. I think so too. We'll talk to Babano about that. Well, I'm making no move on the Indians Rangers spot at this point. I don't want to go against the line move towards the Rangers. Jorge, don't play. Round ball, round bat, play of the day. Texas Cleveland under 9. Waiting to see if we can get it up to 9.5 before first pitch. Interesting. Let's just take another look at what this market move has been on this total. Here we go. I don't see it moving that fast to the over at all. I don't see it doing much. Let's see what Pinnacle is doing. Market move with this total. This total was 9.5 at Pinnacle. Wow, I didn't realize that. Pinnacle opened it at 9.5. Held it at 9.5 for 4 minutes before it moved down to 9. Because the under started getting just smoked. Yeah, I do not see a 9.5 coming back. Okay, not making a move at that point. Let's look at Rockies Diamondbacks. Get some market moves here. Rockies Diamondbacks. This game goes off at 3:40 Eastern. Total opens at 9.5 all the way down to 8.5. A full run. It's gone down a full run. Diamondbacks opening up at minus 155. There's been a 17-cent move towards them. Red Girl in the house joining us. Rockies Diamondbacks. Rockies are hitting 284, 826 OPS versus lefties. You know, I really think that Hoffman, we're going to get value backing Hoffman now. But this is another spot where I don't want to go against that line move. Red Girl on Texas, first 5. I know that I won't hit over 54% going against these line moves. Elliott Fee's also on the Rangers first 5. Interesting. Anil Frank leaning first 5 under. Well, and I can't take the under because it's moved already a full run. Mr. Spectacular 33 says Rockies barely got to 10 last night, 9 the game before, and both games were with Dome open. Line open at 9.5, went down to 8.5. It's going to be under in Arizona with the Dome closed today. Yes, the Dome will be closed very hot. Thank you for that insight, Mr. Spectacular. Elliott V on Texas first half. Viper NB on the Rockies minus 1.5, going for a big score. Black Rogue says Rockies again. Wow, CT Base says Rockies bats kill Ray. I love this over. Well, I'm uncomfortable with the market move where I'd be on Hoffman in the Rockies. I mean, we almost have 100-point better OPS with the Rockies against lefties compared to the Diamondbacks against righties. Colorado's won 7 in a row against Arizona, 17 of the past 21. They've won 6 straight games. They've gone 6 straight games with at least 12 hits. 26 hits in winning the first 2 games. Oh, but there's no Trevor Story. That's a big, big hole in the lineup. Big hole. We don't have that confirmed, but we're not expecting him to be in the lineup. Always with his stealing. You almost want him not to steal. Pepper saying, take the under. Bookie Lover Q says, Hoffman is like Wild Thing from Major League. Eddie Oler says, I was looking at Diamondbacks. Yellow G says Ray is overrated. Elliot V saying Arizona killed a big parlay in which I included Pittsburgh. Oh. I'm not flush on saying be careful with the Texas under. Christopher Kimentini saying in here, under with the roof closed. Tomoya says Rockies hit lefties like Ray, and Ray's never been strong at home. Yeah. Tom Reed said, damn, Rockies win this series. It'll be 5 out of 6. Bubbarito says Rockies team total over, Ray gets smashed. You know, maybe we should wait for the lineup to come out and everyone to see no story and then line the move even further in the Diamondbacks direction. Mr. Gokster says Arenado and Blackman smash Ray. Let's go to those stats right now. Let's go to the pitcher versus batter stats here. Here we go. And this Rangers team's not seen Bieber. And for Minor, the Indians barely hit him. Small sample size, 15 at-bats, but just 3 singles. Against Hoffman, these Diamondbacks hit him hard. 9 for 26 with 2 doubles and a homer. And against Ray gets smashed. Ray gets smashed by these guys. Wow. 56 hits and 166 at-bats. 11 home runs. Blackman has 4 home runs. And is there anybody hotter in the league than Blackman? Phil Lee says Rockies beat Arizona. Rockstar says Rockies best underdog of the day. Pie Guy says just take the over. I want to take the Rockies, but I think we're going to get a better line when they announce the lineups. Remo says Hoffman 1-3 with 9.00 ERA versus Arizona in his career, but he looks better now than he's looked ever. And he came up in the Toronto system. Racino saying over. Oh, very interesting. I mean, okay, well, these are huge market moves you guys would be going against. We've seen it drop a full run, and you guys would be taking the over, and that's just dangerous. A low East Side roller likes Arizona. And then going even for the Rockies, there's a huge move towards the Diamondbacks. I have a lean towards the Rockies, and I may take them. But I think I want to wait till that lineup's out and everybody sees that there's no story and more money comes in on the Diamondbacks. Everybody liking the over. I think that's just dangerous. There's my guy Eric Jones in the house. Boogie Lover Q said, told you, Jimmy, Colorado dominates Arizona regardless who pitches. You're right. Wow. Dave LA says, I almost max played Diamondbacks. Wow. And Comtina, yes, the humidifier will be in action. Wow, that's very interesting stuff. There's Dion Davis. Red Girl saying, I like that team total over Rockies. All right. I'm uncomfortable. Pie Guy says if Ray goes 6+ Zona wins. I think I'm setting myself up for failure in both these games by going against market moves here. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So at this point, I'm making no moves on those early games. We'll talk to our guy Babano about it. Let's move on and start hammering this card a little more. Now, I don't believe Babano does WNBA. We do have 2 games in WNBA. Mystics Aces, Mercury Wings, and then we have the CFL game. If you guys want, it's up to you guys. If you guys want, we could tackle WNBA, these 2 games quickly here, or we could just move into the rest of the baseball card. So just let me know what you guys want to do. Eddie Euler says, I was leaning Rockies D-backs over, but like Jimmy, be careful going against big line moves. It's just not going to work. I just know that in the long run, it's just not going to work. Ilya Cat says, I took Rockies team total 3.5 over. I mean, that's such a small team total. 3.5 at -128. Wow. With no story. Story's a big piece of that lineup. Nut Flush Allen says, with as much as Rockies hit him, 3.5 is low. Wow. Okay. Frankie Martinez says, WNBA, please. A low East Side Roller says, let's keep going with MLB. And JC Alvarez says, baseball card, please. You know what? I'm going to copy and paste Tomor's action here. And we will go through these MLB games. And then before the show ends, we will touch on these WNBA games. So I'm just going to copy and paste here what I've done with Tomor's action here. Get that here. All right. And then get this one here from Tomor. Okay. Sorry. Let me just get this Tomor. Okay. Okay, so I got copied and pasted 2 of Tomore's notes. I have broke down those games. I mean, I didn't spend a ton of time on them, but I did break down those games. Okay. Dave LA saying Rays shut down Rockies. MLB says Babano hit his pick yesterday with that over in the Indians game. Okay. And shout out to Aunt L. I pretty much blindly tailed that Red Sox Twins over. And that was just a straight casher. Frankie Martinez says, thanks, Jimmy. Much love from Denver. Frankie Martinez. Much love to you, my friend. Denver. What a great, great, great city. Colorado in the house. What are you doing with this game, Frankie? Are you backing your Rockies here? Be very curious to hear. Okay. Russell Gordy says, we'll see. Brew Crew cost me, then Osaka just freaking lost my parlay. It's okay, Russell Gordy. We'll get it back right now. Okay, let's let Dion Davis, our guy Dion Davis, roll us into this Astros Yankees game. Dion Davis is on the Astros money line. Also, Rockies 14-9 in day games. Diamondbacks 14-13. I love that set. Thanks, Tom. There's our guy Sean Childers. We haven't seen enough of. 4-5 with a 5.57 ERA and 14 starts against the Rockies. Yeah. Okay. Let's go. Astros, Yankees. Astros 21-16 on the road, coming off a 3-game sweep from the Reds. Yankees just coming off a demolishing of a very good Tampa Bay Rays squad. 78 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 7 miles per hour is the wind out to left center. We got Framber Valdez pitching 3-2, 2.77 ERA, 1.18 whip, 39 innings, 38, 6 Ks, 15 walks, 2 home runs. And it's a opener day for the Yankees, a day of openers. And there's Demetrios Davis in the house. And Frankie Martinez says, Rockies, my man, for sure. Got to ride the wave. I get it. If you just keep cashing and cashing and cashing. Okay. Christopher Comentini says, we have seen Rockies get shut out on the road. He's right. And going against Dave LA with the way he's capping right now is very, very, very dangerous. Art Hayes says Yankees smoking hot. Don Ricci letting us know there's a line move as we speak. He got Oakland at even. It's now minus 110. Eddie Oil says Yankees have won 5 in a row. Houston lost 4 in a row. Don Ricci just locked in the Mets over 9. Okay, I got to copy and paste Don Ricci. Whenever he talks about the Mets, it's just an automatic copy and paste here. All right, Christopher Comentini says, can't trust the Astros. But can you trust him against the Yankees day of openers? And is Chad Green even good at it? Let's see what the market's done here. With this market move, open at 9.5. It's gone up to 10. Now, it was juiced minus 120 to the over, so it's not as big of a move as it may sound like. The Yankees open up at minus 135. No movement. 0 movement still there. Doug Barnhouse says, not touching my Astros. MLB says Astros in a slump. Rockstar says, can't trust Astros at this point. Eddie Euler says, Houston swept a 3-game series from New York at home earlier this season. And Trey Hicks says, stay away from Stros until bats wake up. And missing 2 MVP candidates. But they do have Altuve back and hit 260, 788 OPS first righties. Chad Green, 7.54 ERA, 1.68 whip, but he won't be in there for long. And the Yankees do not hit lefties. See, I'm with Dave here. I think the Astros has a ton of value here. We know that the Yankees, even though they have a star-studded lineup, don't hit lefties well. And I think that this... Don Russell Gordy says Yanks no number low, gents. Russell Gordy, tell me, Dave LA's on the Astros money line. Are you as well? Tomino says every year at this time, Houston starts resting starters, and they usually are inconsistent. CT Base is on the Astros as a dog. Aloha East Side roller like in the under, but it's moved up to 10. Viper MB says Green a bum. Should we take the Astros early? Yeah, I like the Astros here. Jared Trader agrees. My man Jose says Astros do this every year. They go through a stretch where they can't score. I stay away during these games. Black Rogue says Astros do have value. This is the first appealing spot to me on the card. Yankees are scoring 39 runs in their past 5 games, homered in 22 straight. Chad Green owns a 3.52 ERA in this opener role. He last pitched on Saturday. I do not trust him at all. Houston just scored 7 runs during a 4-game losing streak. You know what helps? Is this short porch and left. Melvin Bonanza says, ask Blake Snell if Yanks don't hit lefties. You're right, Melvin. You're absolutely well. Right. Russell Gordon says, Houston wins, Jimmy. Trey Hicks says Valdez won't go deep. Bud Nino says, keep betting against the Yankees and see where it gets y'all. Well, we saw what it did to me yesterday. Actually, to be honest with you, they took 4 units from me, or more than 4 plus the juice in that series. I made an ass of myself. Maybe I'm just doing it again. Art Hayes says the game might not happen to me. Rain, rain, rain over here. Really? I don't have that information. Christopherson Lim says low-hanging fruit, Astros, Loshak approved. I like the Astros here. And I guess I would like to go up against Chad Green. I would like the Astros early to get out of their slump. I would like the Astros early. Maybe that's a mistake, but that's the way I feel. Let's see what I'd get on the money line Astros. There we go. Plus 125, plus 131 at bookmaker. I find that appealing. Well, Eddie Euler, New York Green, 2 scoreless innings in each of his last 2 outings in the starting role. Okay, well, I'll just leave that as a lean right now. I don't need to force anything. First 5. And Dave Alley saying the majority of the chat is on the Astros. Yeah, I like this spot. Dave, are they full game rather than first 5? Matt Randall saying love Astros today. Gerard Ryan saying Astros first 5 money line. Yeah, I have to say that I like them in this spot. Okay, I'm moving forward. Bleds W says Astros are not the play. They're struggling bats right now on the road. Don't trust them. Jared Trader said just went to 135 at bookmaker. Wow. Just went to plus 135 at bookmaker. I don't have that in front of me, but I trust you, Jared. My guy Adam Morera in the house. And Bookie Lover Q says I'm not on the Astros at all. Russell Gordy says Astros win, but under. All right. Let me see if I can get that move. Oh, wow. Just moved to plus 137 at bookmaker. Wow. Jorge, don't play. Laughing at me, saying stop betting against the Yankees. Matt Randall says spot play for Astros. You know, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take Astros first 5. Plus 137 at bookmaker. Okay. Phillies Nationals. Pavetta, is it Fetty? I expected it Fetty. That's what, yeah, it is Fetty. Okay, Fetty's being announced. Okay, let's go to full game. Money lines and totals here. With Fetty against Pavetta, wow. Nationals open up at minus 140. A 27-cent move towards the Phillies and Pavetta. Total opens up at 9.5, and it's now at 10. Phillies 16-20 on the road. Nationals 19-17 at home, coming off a sweep of the Phillies in the doubleheader yesterday. Phillies are hitting 237, 725 OPS versus righties. Nationals 240, 725 OPS versus righties. Fetty 2-1 with 4.32 ERA in 3 games in his career against the Phillies. All starts. Pavetta struggled against the Nationals. He was originally drafted by the Nationals. 1-5, 10.94 ERA in 8 games. Pavetta just, but I guess they're thinking he turns it around, and he's been pitching better. Oh, I got you, Jorge. Don't play, man. I got you. I got you forever, Jorge. Don't play. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry for a second, my guy. Philly says, or Matt Randall says Phillies. Tormino says Pavetta is pitching well. He pitched well against Atlanta last start, even though Atlanta was hitting well. Darryl Lyles, Phillies money line. Black Rogue, Phillies lean. Russell Gordy says Phillies lose 3 games in 24 hours. Nope, taking Phillies. Yeah, I like that. Fetty, 14 walks and 36 and 2/3. Tormino says, I think the value's on Philadelphia first 5. Philadelphia bullpen's absolute trash right now. Dave L.A. Nats first 5 lean. Well, I'll tell you what. It was my mistake for not taking it earlier. And because I didn't take it earlier, I just don't feel like I should jump on it now. Too big of a market move already towards the Phillies, and the value's gone. Pinnacle opened it up at plus 126 at 9:30 this morning. Within 40 minutes, Philly was at plus 109. And now they're at plus 103 to take Phillies on the road? No. I get it. I get why people would back Phillies, but I'm just not getting enough value. Don Ricci saying Phillies were anemic. I need more. Let's keep moving. Angels, Blue Jays. Light rain in the forecast, so we expect the roof to be closed. See what's going on here. A slight move, and it's been happening all day, or since the morning I've been watching. I was like, man, do I need to? So I've hit with the Angels 3 straight days, and this is one of the spots where I just think the Blue Jays are so bad, I don't feel bad going back to the well. The only concern is it possible that Trout won't be in the lineup? I don't think so. He's just too hot right now. Angels open at minus 151. So there's just been basically no movement. I want to go back to the Angels right now. Robbie Tops is on the Angels. The Angels have been saving me from being down 20 units. Angels first 5 full game. Suarez pitching for the Angels. Clayton Richard looks terrible. Al Hart says, what's the taint, Jimmy? The taint is the over 2.5 in USA Sweden. Over 2.5 goals. Full game in USA, Sweden. Viper MB says take Angels team total over. Joe Rich Ramirez says Angels first 5. Clayton Richard looks absolutely terrible in his last couple starts. Trout has 11 home runs in the past 19 games. His career .631 slugging average at the Rogers Center, the highest of any player with more than 100 at-bats. They're 5-2 on this 11-game road trip. They're making hay. Poker Addict said Blue Jays auto fade. Hold off until that line comes down. Sharp action moving the needle a little towards the Jays. Dave LA says over. See what that total is doing again. Sorry, I didn't even mention it. My fault. Here we go. Angels, Yankees. Excuse me. Angels, Jays. Total is at 10.5 and been very little movement there. Bookie Lover Q says Suarez is boo-boo, man. I'd rather have Suarez on the mound than Clayton Richard. Pie Guy saying Clayton Richard's hot trash. Angels have won all 6 games against the Jays so far this year. In his last 7 2/3, Richards allowed 12 earned runs. Look, I'm not concerned here. I'll keep going back to the well over and over again. Angels, first 5, -0.5. It's -115. I'm taking that. And then Angels -1.5. Full game is +105. That's available at Bookmaker. See some notes here. Angels over all day. Yeah. Jorge Don't Play says Angels team total over. Remove the variables. Yeah, see what I'm getting here. Team totals. Angels got to be a 5.5, right? 5.5 and -134. It's so juiced. First 5 over is also a good look. It's so juiced. I think I might take both teams here. Let's see what we get first 5 over. Because the Angels do have a good bullpen. And the Jays do as well. Let's see what we're getting here. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to stick with the first 5 over. First 5 over 5.5 and -119. I'm going to take the first 5 over. All right. First 5 over 5.5 and -119. All right. 3 plays there. Let's keep rolling. And we're going to be joined by Babano in a couple minutes. Let's talk Marlins, Cardinals. Zach Gallen coming up from New Orleans. This is an interesting spot. He was incredible. 9-1, 1.77 ERA, 0.71 WHIP, 91 in the 3rd innings, 112 Ks, 17 walks. And he was part of the Marcell Ozuna trade, so he's going up against the Cardinals. Pie Guy, you're absolutely right. No Giles, though, and he's expected back any day, but you're absolutely right. That's a great point. Eddie Euler, you're right. Richard has been a little bit better at the Rogers Center. He has been. Jesse Daly says, I haven't seen any evidence that they have a good pen. Well, let's see if we can find some evidence quickly. Here we go. At the head. Let's take a look at this pen. Here we go. Bullpen statistics. 1.377 whip. That's a better whip. The Jays bullpen is a better whip than the Angels whip. The Jays bullpen is a better ERA than the Angels. Jays are at 4.42 with a 1.377 whip. Their bullpen, let's see how many innings do they go per game. Innings per game. So they go 4 a game. Angels go 4.5 because Angels do those bullpen days more often. But 3.8 hits they're allowing in 4 innings. That's fine. They're not a bad, but they've blown 2 saves all year. Now that helps with Giles. And Russell Gordy saying under in the Blue Jays game. Okay. Jorge Don't Play says, what's your juice limit? Mine's 135 to 140 is mine. Okay. Black Rogue leaning Cardinals or Marlins over 8. Let's go. Eddie was saying Blue Jays have lost 7 in a row. There's our guy, the bartender. And Alex Ramirez, another Spidey play of the day. Cash. I love it. Okay. And Adam Murray just locked in a parlay. Diamondbacks, Angels. Yeah, Jerry B. Gallen for the Marlins is a stud pitcher. His numbers are off the charts. They are, Jerry. They are. And this Cardinals team is so cold right now. Let's see what we are getting here at SBR. Oh, sorry, I got to close this bullpen stats up. Okay, let's see what we're getting. Miami, St. Louis. Sorry, that's first 5. So that's the movement's going towards the under. That was 4.5s, now 4s. Total open at 8. That's where it's at. It's a low total. And money coming in on the Cardinals open at minus 157, now minus 186. Wainwright has looked terrible on the road. Liberty Finder says Freddie jinxed the White Sox yesterday. Always paid Freddie. He did. All right, he says Gallen a stud where? In New Orleans. So I hear you, Art. I hear what you're saying. Big move towards these Cardinals, and Wainwright 6-2 with 2.95 ERA and 12 appearances against the Marlins, but 6.56 ERA on the road. It's at home where he's been incredible, 2.31 ERA. He was hit hard in May, but it's been better in 2 June starts, 1-1 with a 2.19 ERA. In 2 starts, he's had 6 or more days of rest, 0-1 with a 7.56 ERA. Both the Cardinals and Marlins offenses have been feeble of late. And Marlins probably not going to have Garrett Cooper in the lineup. Russell Gordy says under in St. Louis. Marlins look good. Under 8 is a low under, but yeah. And we know there's going to be no Cooper. But how do we know Gallen's going to be good here in the show? And and also we know that he looks bad when he has extra rest. Shadow says I'm on Houston first 5 money line. Bloody hell. Also took LA Angels full game run line. Love it, Shadow. Black Rogue says Wainwright's not the same guy. Look, I just think there's too many variables for an 8 here. I totally get. If I was going to take anything, I would take the under. But there's just too many variables, and I don't feel comfortable. All right. Let's talk Reds, Brewers, and Babano coming in shortly. There he is. I see Babano ready to go. David likes to want to take first 5 under, but don't trust Wainwright. I get that. So we still have quite a few games. We have Reds, Brewers, and I'm close to making a move on the Reds, but we have to talk about whether we trust Rourke. Then we have Mets, Cubs, and that's a tricky spot with Lockett coming up from the minors. Here's a guy. Remember, we talk about having too many walks in the minors. What are you going to do against those patient batters? Lockett, 4 walks and 31 2/3. Now, that's partially a high A, so we'll talk about that. And then Chatwood coming back. Then we have Twins, Royals, Rays, A's, Giants, Dodgers, which I need to talk about. I need to talk about that because I want to take Bumgarner early. And we got Bleds W and Black Road on the Reds. And then Orioles, Mariners. So those are the games we still need to talk about. And I want to talk CFL with Babano, but we have time. No need to rush. Let's bring in our guy right now, live from Hamilton, Ontario, joining us here on this Thursday morning. Babano in the house. How are you doing this morning?
Good as always, Jimmy. Good to be with you.
Thank you. Great to have you. I want to talk about this Rough Riders game, or do you want to go into baseball? What would you prefer order-wise?
Now we'll do CFL first.
Let's get to it. A lot of moving parts here. Riders coming off that loss, and I don't know how much, maybe you can fill us in if you know much about Cody Fajardo. He is starting. We thought that Isaac Harker may start because he looked pretty good, in that second half. But the Rough Riders couldn't do anything, and there's been a huge market move towards the under. And this Red Blacks quarterback, Dominic Davis, he's a feast or famine guy. 4 interceptions, still puts up 32 points against Calgary. So we know that Ottawa is a team that just is being beating up on Saskatchewan ever since they lost to the Riders in that 2017 Eastern semifinal. We know that Fajardo is somebody they trust. Dominique Davis, we talked about 4 interceptions, but 276 yards against that very difficult Stamps defense is impressive. 3 rushing touchdowns as well. And then we have the Red Blacks with this all-Canadian O-line, all-national O-line that looked spectacular in week 1. They looked so good. So a lot of moving parts here, and this total just keeps going down. Unbelievably opened at 49.5 and is now, I believe, it was at 44.5. Is it now at 43.5? Sorry, let me get there. Where is it? Where is the CFL? There we go at the bottom. Now at 43.5, and the Red Blacks are at 4.5. Interesting, because at 5.5, I was going to take the Riders. Oh, I shouldn't have waited so long. Heritage already moved it to 4. So first off, Babano, I think that we can go over this very low total at 43.5. knowing the way Davis is. But I want to hear your breakdown badly. Rough Riders at Red Blacks.
Yeah, I like the under a lot in this game, but I liked it at 49 when I bet it. I don't know if I liked it like it right now at 43.5. I'm absolutely shocked that it moved 5.5 points like it has, all the way down to 43.5, 6 points actually, because it actually opened 49.5 this total. But I think it's going to be a game that's going to be, unless you get a bunch of cheap scores. You get some kick return touchdowns, you get special team scores, you get a pick six, or you get a fumble return touchdown. Unless you get some really cheap scores, I don't think there's going to be points in bunches tonight. I know Ottawa's offense looked decent last week with Dominique Davis in his first start against Calgary's defense. Have to keep in mind, though, Calgary's defense is completely rebuilt. That is not anywhere close to the level of defensive football team they were last year. Certainly not in week one. They just lost too many guys. They lost Alex Singleton. They lost Micah Johnson. They lost Deontay Evans in the secondary. Jared Davis gone to Hamilton. I mean, there are key playmakers on the defensive side of the football that Calgary lost from last season's team, and it showed in week one. So I'm taking that Ottawa offensive performance with a grain of salt. Okay, they were good at times. They did move the ball effectively, but they're playing a much better and much tougher defense here with Saskatchewan. They're absolutely loaded, the Riders, on defense. And right now they're going to have to win games with their defense because their offense is struggling. And I think it will struggle as long as Kolaros is out. Fajardo did not impress me all that much. I was there for the game last week in Hamilton. He wasn't great. Isaac Harker actually is the guy that sort of lit a spark in the Saskatchewan offense in that game last week for the Rough Riders. Actually is the one that got them going. He is going to actually get some snaps in this game. Fajardo is going to start. Craig Dickinson, the head coach, confirmed that. But what I don't like about Saskatchewan's offense here is that they're going to rotate these two quarterbacks. Fajardo's starting, but Harker will get some reps. Harker will get some snaps in this game. I don't like that because neither quarterback can get in rhythm. Neither quarterback can get comfortable. You got two guys that may be looking over their shoulder. They throw one interception, they may not see the field again. I hate that dynamic where you've got the two quarterbacks going back and forth in a game. I don't like that decision by Dickinson. And Ottawa's defense is pretty good. You have to keep in mind they held Calgary and Bo Levi Mitchell last week, top quarterback in the CFL, one of the better offensive teams in the CFL, under 300 total yards. You keep a team in the CFL below 300 total yards, you're doing something right. So I'm in total agreement with the move toward the under. However, at 43.5, I can't tell people with a straight face, bet the under when you could have had 49 and it's now 43.5. So I liked it when it was 49, not so much now. From a side perspective, as long as Fajardo and Harker don't screw up, don't make those critical mistakes, don't turn the ball over, protect the football, you've still got a great Saskatchewan defense. I think a motivated team coming off a loss against Hamilton. Ottawa, maybe a little letdown factor for them after the big upset win against Calgary. So I'd lean to taking the points. I don't love it, but you're talking about, always interested in the superior West Division team catching points as an underdog against the East Division, which is always the inferior division in the CFL. So I'd probably lean Saskatchewan plus the points in terms of the side.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm just putting up the AccuWeather forecast quickly. I am going to take the over here. I think there's going to be defensive touchdowns here. It's going to be raining.
I think that's what you're going to have to hope for. You're going to have to hope for a bunch of mistakes and turnovers and short fields for the offenses to work with, a quick sudden change of field position type of thing. I think in terms of asking these two quarterbacks and these two offenses against these two defenses to move the football methodically up and down the field, I think that's asking a lot. If you're betting the over, A, you're getting a great number. You can't deny that, 43.5. And B, you could always get those defensive touchdowns and those miscues and maybe some turnovers from quarterbacks that, we're a little bit concerned about their ability to protect the football. Davis had 4 INTs last week. Fajardo and Harker are not necessarily number one quarterback material in the CFL. So their ability to be able to protect the football is at least a little bit in doubt.
And there's going to be short fields. At 49.5, you made a spectacular play, obviously. But at 43.5, I'm going to take a shot with the over, 43.5 and minus 105, and I'm not going to mess with the side. I think that's my biggest edge right now. And that's how I'm going to hammer this. Okay, I have a couple questions. First off, Eddie Euler leaning Lions Eskies over on Friday night. Should be a barn burner with Riley back in Edmonton. I like that look a lot. I'm going to copy and paste that. I have a question quickly about the situation right now with futures in the CFL, and we need to get to baseball. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but right now the Stamps are at plus 280 and the Bombers are at plus 300. And I know we have 17 more games to go, so 19 more weeks to go before we get to the playoffs, so injuries and so many things can happen. But to me, I just think that the Cup's going to come out of the West. The Bombers look like the best team in the league, clearly at this point. Now that can obviously, all this can change. But we know that the Grey Cup's in Calgary. What do you think about taking Calgary and Winnipeg to win the Grey Cup? Now Calgary at plus 280 and Winnipeg at plus 300 and making a bigger size bet.
Yeah, I really now it's only week one. We can't get carried away and award Grey Cups after one game, but I really like the Winnipeg Blue Bombers this season. I like them coming into the season. I said this on a bunch of platforms about how much I like to see Winnipeg coming into the season. I took Winnipeg last week against BC. They're a good football team. And what I like is, unlike so many other teams that have seen massive personnel changes on offense and defense, coaching changes, Winnipeg doesn't have any of that. They're very lots of continuity, lots of chemistry. Mike O'Shea's been there forever now as the head coach. Matt Nichols firmly entrenched as the quarterback. A very good defense, an improved defense. You think of Big Hill at linebacker, Willie Jefferson. They get him to bolster the defensive line from Saskatchewan. A pretty good secondary as well. This is a good Winnipeg football team. A very good offensive line with Stanley Bryant anchoring that unit, the left tackle. I think he's probably the best O-lineman in the CFL right now. It's a great football team, no question about that. So I'm very high on Winnipeg. Obviously, from a future standpoint, their price has already come down, believe it or not, just a little bit after winning week one last week. But they're my pick to come out of the West. I think this is finally the year Calgary's a little vulnerable. They've had so many changes on the defensive side, and we saw it last week. It bit them in the ass against Ottawa. All the changes in terms of new faces on defense. It could take that team a while. And even if those players grow and that group grows into a better defense, I'm not sure it's still overall the caliber of defense that we saw last year from this Calgary team. So I do think the Stampeders are ripe for the picking finally. I think if there's one year they're finally not going to come out of the West and win it, this is the year, and I think Winnipeg's the best team to challenge them.
So you don't think taking both makes sense? You think just focusing on Winnipeg makes more sense?
Yeah, Winnipeg, maybe Edmonton is a dark. Like I actually bet Edmonton, Jimmy, before the season began to win the Grey Cup because it was plus 1,200 on Edmonton before the season began. I know they're the only team in the West that didn't make the playoffs last year, but coming into this season, they had Edmonton priced from a future standpoint down there with Toronto and Montreal. You can't tell me Edmonton's not better on paper than Toronto and Montreal. I mean, that to me, they're a little bit mispriced. And because I thought they were a little bit mispriced, I had to jump on them. Doesn't mean they're going to win the West, but I thought plus 1,200 was the wrong price range to put the Eskimos in. Certainly their offense looked good with Trevor Harris last week in their week one win.
No doubt. No doubt. Trevor Harris is a fine replacement for Riley. Okay, well, that's great. That gives me stuff to think about this afternoon. I've not made a move. I'll let you guys know if I do make a move in the futures market, which I haven't done yet. Probably should have taken the Bombers before the season started. That might be a mistake. Okay, let's get to work on this baseball card. We have two early games. You like anything in those?
In terms of the early games, I like Colorado, Arizona a little bit in terms of over the total. I know Trevor Story's not going to be in there. He got injured last night, but how do you like Jeff Hoffman? His numbers are just unsightly. That's how bad they are. Jeff Hoffman, a terrible record all season. He's never been a good starter. 7.04 ERA, 9.28 road ERA, and 2 road starts. He's given up 11 runs in 10.2 road innings, Jeff Hoffman. You're giving up more runs than innings pitched. That's bad. That's terrible. That's a really bad sign for him facing this Arizona team. I think the Diamondbacks will be able to score their share of runs. Robbie Ray is capable, but Robbie Ray has not had a good track record against Colorado. He just hasn't. Even though his home ERA is decent throughout the course of the season, Colorado has not been a good team for Robbie Ray. He's 5.57 ERA for him against the Rockies in his career. He struggled to a 4.36 ERA in 2 starts against them this year. The bullpens are a little bit unsettled with both of these teams as well. We know Colorado's bullpen has really, really labored. So you're looking at this total coming down. I wasn't going to get involved initially because it was 9.5, and I'm like, okay, that's probably about right. It's gone down a full run, and I don't understand the overreaction. Maybe it's because Story's injured, but I don't think it. I think that's a bit of an overreaction in my mind. So at 8.5, I'm in on the over there.
So I actually feel differently about Hoffman, and we watched him come up in our system. He was part of that Tulowitzki, our system being Babano and I, the Jays.
The Jays.
Yeah, traded him
for a cup of coffee. He was here. Yeah.
But traded him for Tulowitzki. And I think that it was a very impressive start last Friday. That was a 16-12 game in the thin air where it was just all offense all weekend. And he goes 5 innings with 3 hits and 1 run. And there's a reason why they've kept him in the rotation. I know there's injuries. That's part of it as well. But I think that Hoffman will turn the season around. And this was a highly thought of pitcher coming up. And I think that we can get value backing him. And I'm not taking the under here. And I don't want to go against either market move towards the Diamondbacks and towards over. I don't want to go up against these market moves at this point. But I have a slightly different feeling about Hoffman. I think that we're going to get value with him moving forward because of his unsightly numbers that you talk about. And I think he can turn around his season. But this bullpen is a mess. And Wade Davis.
That's the thing. Look at first 5 innings. If you like Hoffman that much, make sure you at least put a portion of your wager on the first 5 innings, because we're talking about a Rocky pen that, set last 10 games 6.75 ERA. That's absolutely awful out of the bullpen. So you just don't want the bullpen to cost you. So I would say put some of it, at least, not the whole bet, but at least some of it on the first 5.
You know what? I'm just going to completely stay away.
Or completely stay away. Yeah.
I am. But in moving forward, I might be backing Hoffman. We'll see how he looks here. But 31 Ks and 30 2/3, just 9 walks. I know he's allowed 7 home runs. I feel like he moves forward a little bit. But okay, so I'm off. So and with that 1 run, do you think that's because of Story's injury, the moving from a 9.5 down to 8.5? But you're not concerned?
I think that's part of it, but the Rockies still have a capable lineup even without him. They've got David Dahl's been outstanding in that lineup for them. Blackman's been, Arenado. There's plenty of bats. McMahon, when he's been in there, has been able to hit pretty good. So even Ian Desmond at times has been solid offensively this season. So there's still guys in that Colorado lineup that can hit even without Trevor Story in there. And and Robbie Ray. The key is, can Colorado get base runners? Because I always say this about Robbie Ray. When Robbie Ray's rolling along, out, strikeout, ground out, fly out, ground out, strikeout, ground out. When he's just rolling along, getting one hitter after another out, nobody on base, no ducks on the pond, he's fine. Whenever guys start to get on base, first and second, runner on first, runner first and second, there's guys on base, he struggles. For some reason, this guy he's not comfortable pitching out of the stretch. I don't understand why, but it seems like his batting average against gets worse when there's guys on base. He really is uncomfortable pitching like that. So if Colorado can just get some base runners, you can get to Ray. And that's basically the MO for anybody going up against him. Just get on base, because the guy's not comfortable pitching with runners on base. And I think Colorado can get some runners on base and have some threatening innings, because a lot of these Rocky hitters, if you look at track record against Ray, pretty good against track record against Robbie Ray.
Oh, it's a great point. You have nailed it. He looks totally different with runners on base. Great point. And talk about another Rocky smashing the ball. Ryan McMahon, 12 for 23 in his past 5 games. Okay, what else are you looking at on the late card?
I heard you talking about Cincinnati when I was coming on the air, when I was just joining when I logged on to Skype and joined the show. I agree. Jimmy Nelson's a mess. When it comes to Jimmy Nelson right now, they're looking to fade bet the other team or bet the over, and I'll probably do both with this game tonight. Cincinnati, which is about plus 124 at Heritage, plus 118 at 5 dimes. And over 9.5 in this game. Jimmy Nelson's not right. He hasn't been right in the 2 starts since returning from the DL. It's been an absolute train wreck disaster for him, whatever you want to call it. He just doesn't look comfortable on the mound. And obviously, if you think he's turning it around, you're basically going on he's due to turn it around. He's going to turn it around. But I always go by what my eyes see, and what my eyes see is a guy that just doesn't look comfortable, is not locating his pitches properly, is leaving his pitches up in the strike zone, and for them to get crushed. And the one thing about Cincinnati is they do have some home run power in that lineup. We saw it on display yesterday against Houston. Yasiel Puig in particular, has definitely been hitting his share of home runs lately for this Reds lineup. That's a concern for me. I'm not going to say, oh, Jimmy Nelson, is due to get better. Until I see him get better, until I see him have a better start where he's more comfortable, I'm going against him, and that's exactly what I'm doing tonight. Tanner Roark, on the other hand, pitching for the Reds. We'll see how he ends up doing. He's been okay, actually, for the Reds for the most part. 3.63 ERA. I am concerned a little bit about this matchup for him. He's not been quite as sharp. 5.0 ERA his last 3 starts, so his most recent form's been a little bit more shaky. For Tanner Roark going in his last 3 starts. The Brewers lineup is still fully capable. And talk about bullpens, too, that give you a little bit of grief at times. That would be Cincinnati. Sometimes they have good days, that Cincinnati bullpen, and they can also have days where they struggle. So they're a little bit erratic. I think Milwaukee will score. I think Cincinnati will really have their way with Nelson. And that bullpen for Milwaukee is also a bit of a problem because they got used quite a bit yesterday in the finale against San Diego. Zach Davies didn't give them any length in terms of innings in that game, so it's a tired bullpen a little bit for Milwaukee. So I do favor Cincinnati. I'll take a look at them as a dog, and also that game over 9.5.
Yeah, I like that look. I want to take the Reds, but the more I look at Roark, I get a little concerned. He's a hot and cold pitcher, and in his last 3 starts, he's 0-3 with a 5 ERA. Does that mean that maybe we should just take the first 5 over?
First 5 over is an option for sure. If you want to just target the 2 starters, leave the bullpens out of it, it's definitely. I think the first 5 might make a little sense in this case in terms of that compared to the full game, because I do think the starters are going to have a little bit of a problem tonight in this game, and the bullpens. Cincinnati's bullpen has some really good days, and then they have some not so good days. You just have to hope that if you have the full game over, it's not one of their good days. Milwaukee's bullpen is usually pretty decent, but again, they were overworked yesterday in that game against San Diego, so they don't have quite as many of their key relievers and key arms fresh for this game. But yeah, the first 5 over, this one, just in case you don't want to take a chance on the 2 bullpens, maybe having a good night in this one. That might be something to consider, first 5 instead of full game over. I do think Nelson and Roark are going to struggle because you're right. Roark's current form is declining. It's not improving. It's declining. And you're facing a more than capable Brewers lineup. So that is a concern for sure. But I'm still going to go ahead with Cincy. I just even Cincinnati to win, 6-5, something like that, higher scoring game. Reds pull one out. Even though your concerns about Roark, I understand them. His current form is not as good as he was, say, back in April and May.
Yeah, I feel that. No, that's great stuff, and that's what I'll end up doing. I like if I had a free play, I would take the Reds on the plus line, and there was about 40-minute stretch where it actually went down to 5. The first 5, it opened at 5.5, but it actually went down to 5. And I'm talking about Pinnacle here, what Pinnacle's doing with it. But I'll take Reds, Brewers, first 5 over 5.5 at -106. Beautiful, great stuff. What else are you looking at on this late card?
Let's see. A couple. I don't think I have a ton more other than the ones I mentioned. I like the Colorado-Arizona over. I like Cincinnati and the over against Milwaukee. Philly-Washington, not a whole lot on that. Pivetta kind of interests me, but again, the price has been totally whacked down out of that. Pivetta actually has pitched for the most part pretty decent since that recall. So I'm kind of interested in the Phillies there against the Nationals, even though the Phillies offense has really been a problem in recent games. They've not been consistent. So maybe a little look to Philadelphia, but I hate saying bet it now because the price was so much better before when it opened. There's been a 25 cent move on the Phillies, so you've lost a lot of value there. Cleveland, Texas. Texas is struggling right now. Obviously, they've been absolutely crushed in this series so far by the Cleveland Indians. Shane Bieber on the mound. The Miners been pretty solid for the most part. I think Texas might be able to avoid the sweep. Again, these are going to be small plays for me, these ones I'm mentioning now. The ones I mentioned before are my stronger opinions, but I'd probably lean a little to Texas. I think it's a decent spot trying to avoid the sweep. Bieber, I think, is going to regress a little bit. We saw signs of that in his last start. He didn't pitch well. I believe that was against Tampa Bay, if I'm not mistaken. Bieber didn't pitch pitch well at all in that last start. So I think Texas might be able to avoid the sweep there. Not much on Houston and the Yankees. Angels and Blue Jays. I was looking over the total there, but it's 10.5. I don't know if I'll get involved. Pretty high number there. I think Tampa Bay worth a look here against Oakland. I know it's been a rough go for the Tampa Bay Rays. They definitely had a tough series this week against the Yankees. Got bludgeoned, I guess you could say, in that series. But Charlie Morton is the guy you want on the mound when you're trying to stop a losing streak, be that stopper for you. His numbers have been very good overall, and his numbers on the road are even better. He's got a sub-2 ERA, Charlie Morton on the road. It's still a very good Tampa team. I know Oakland beat up on Baltimore, hapless Baltimore, in their series that just wrapped up yesterday. This is a step up in class for Oakland. I know Oakland's capable, but Tampa Bay's still a good team. I know they've gone through a little rough patch. I know they're only 2-7 in their last 9 games, but they've had a tough schedule as well. Charlie Morton's road numbers are excellent. I think the Rays are worth a look there in that late night West Coast capper.
There's 2 games I like everything that you've done there, but for an edge perspective for me to have confidence, I want to ask you about 2 spots, and I got to go quickly because we got to end the show. First off, I like Bumgarner first 5 plus a half run here. We saw what happened with him in Muncie. We know he's just a gamer. I can get a plus line at plus a half. I can get plus 110 at 5 dimes first 5 plus a half. And Bumgarner has great numbers against the Dodgers. The Dodgers don't hit lefties quite as well as they hit righties, but they hit everyone. The Giants don't hit anything or anybody. I love Bumgarner. I love that attitude against Muncie. I don't think Muncie did anything wrong. It's just Bumgarner wanted to hit somebody, and he chose the guy who destroyed that pitch, and that was Muncie. So I like Bumgarner first 5 plus a half. What do you think of that?
Bumgarner is a guy that I've almost written off betting when he starts. I don't know what I'm going to get. I really don't. I do think there's all you're talking about plus 165 with a guy that was one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball a few years ago. So you're just not used to seeing these kind of price tags on Madison Bumgarner, and I don't argue with that. Urias is a little bit of a wild card for me for the LA Dodgers. We're not exactly sure what we're going to get from him in this particular outing. Obviously, the Giants got obviously crushed last night by the LA Dodgers, and it's not easy to go against what's obviously the superior team. But the money line is the great equalizer in baseball. You see teams like the Dodgers; they're great teams overall, win-loss wise, but what are they plus-minus units wise? That's the big question. And San Francisco plus 165, Bumgarner. It's a weird dynamic because remember he had that little incident when he faced the Dodgers last time. Flapping his gums at them. If he might be a focused guy tonight, maybe wanting to make amends against this Dodgers team. So again, Bumgarner's just one of those guys I don't get involved much when he pitches, but I think there's a little value in the price. So if you like them, I can't argue with it.
You know what? I think Urias is going to be able to shut down. I think this is such a big start for Urias as well, and I know he's not going to go deep into the game, but he's got great numbers against this Giants squad, and the Giants aren't hitting him. So I'm going to double up here. I'm going to take the Giants first 5 plus a half, and then I'm also going to take the first 5 under 4 here. First 5 under 4. I got a bunch of guys in the chat on this as well. I'm getting minus 110 at 5 dimes. And then here, quickly, before we go, and I know we're going to briefly talk about WNBA before we go, but Babano, Orioles, Mariners, Bundy. LeBlanc is now the pitcher we thought he was, or I thought he was last year when I lost a shitload of money fading him. And then I had just to stop at one point. I just had to stop. He looked good. But right now, LeBlanc is looking awful. He looks like the guy that the Pirates wanted nothing to do with. And I know that they're coming off a win, but the Seattle team just looks like they're done. And, we don't know if LeBlanc's in because they're going to go with the opener, and there's no line yet.
I hate these openers are driving me nuts. I'm sick and tired of this crap on a daily basis. The opener. Everybody's doing this now. The Tampa Bay Rays started this pandemic last year. Now every team's copying them, and I got to put up with this nonsense every year. And I got to look twice, 3 times, 4 times. before I find out who the hell's starting. And then it's not just finding out who the hell's opening, Jimmy. You got to work overtime to figure out who's going to get the lion's share of the innings after the opener leaves the game. Who's going to pitch the second inning, the third inning, the fourth inning? Who's going to get the most? And you never know because it's obviously never listed in the rotation because it's only the opener, the guy that pitches the first inning on your baseball betting board. So you got to work to see, okay, but who's going to pitch the second, third, fourth inning? It makes me work harder, and I don't like it.
Yeah, it's a pain. It's a pain. And then you have to make that bet action just in case it changes throughout the day. But Trey Mancini also likely not in the lineup with the bruised left elbow. So we'll get to that. All right, I love it. I love it. I love my action here now. But Bono, will you stick around while we just briefly talk about these two basketball games? We'll hit them harder on the late show. First off, we'll talk about the Mystics. Tom Moreno saying there's value with the Mystics at plus 4.5. Aces beaten no one. Mystics are only 5-3. And Vegas coming off 2 wins. They destroy New York. We know how bad they are on Friday. And then they win 80-75 at Minnesota on Sunday. And Washington, NBA Finals just a year ago. And they've looked good after bouncing back. They have this 4-game road trip, and I believe it's just 8 days. And they started with they just destroy LA on Tuesday, the Sparks. And we were all on Washington, so that was a nice score for us. So I think that he's right. I think the Mystics have value at plus 4.5. The Aces just haven't quite figured out everything with Cambage yet. And Aces, that's what Tomer's saying. And this next one says Aces are still having problems with Cambage and Wilson at the same time. Let's just quickly look what the spreads and totals is for that game. And so initially, I think that 4.5 is nice. Bet online hanging a 5 for the Mystics. That might be too many points. A plus 5 for the Mystics here. That's quite a quick lean here, plus 5. And then, plus 5. And then we have this spot with the Mercury and the Wings. And with all the injuries and each team having stars, well, Taurasi, as we know, Diana Taurasi's almost back from that knee injury. But they've lost Yvonne Turner to Eurobasket. She represents Hungary. And then for Dallas, they're doing the same thing. They've lost Glory Johnson. She's representing Montenegro in Eurobasket, so she's gone. They also don't have Isabel Harrison, excuse me, due to a concussion. So I just think there's too many moving parts in that game for me to be really comfortable making a move on. And so at this point, I'm off that game. I would look towards the under, but I'm off that game. But I think the Mystics at plus 5 have value. I think the Mystics at plus 5 have value, so I'm going to wait at this point. But I guess I like the Mystics at plus 5. Keems Man says Mystics at plus 5 in Vegas. So I'm going to wait. Right now, I like the Mystics plus 5. We'll see what we do moving forward. Thank you so much for your time and energy, Babano. Could you remind us what your action is, what your official plays are, and let us know where we can find you on Twitter and what shows you got popping off this weekend?
Yeah, you mentioned the Baltimore-Seattle game. I'll tell you right, doesn't matter who's pitching for Seattle. I will not lay minus 140 with them. I know they won yesterday, but the lineup is still a little questionable without Edwin. He got traded to the Yankees. I know it's Baltimore. They're bad, but I don't want to lay any price with Seattle there. I lean under in the Tampa-Oakland game as well. Oh, and one more over I wanted to get to. Over 9 in the Mets-Cubs game. This Lockett guy that's starting for the Mets, he doesn't. He's awful. Like he has been really bad. This Walker Lockett has no upside at the major league level, none at all. He at AAA, he struggled. He made a little brief appearance when he was a member of the Padres at the major league level. Oh, what did he do? He gave up 16 runs in 15 innings at the major league level. No. This guy is he's there because they have no other options in this rotation right now. That's bad news against the Cubs. Chatwood for the Cubs. I don't trust him at all. He's a walk machine. The Mets lineup, believe it or not, is hitting pretty good right now for the most part. I know they got subdued last night by Atlanta, but prior to that, it's been a lineup that's been in pretty good form. So this is just a pitching train wreck waiting to happen. I like over 9 with the Mets and the Cubs. So in terms of official plays, the ones that I like the most, Colorado, Arizona over 8.5, Cincinnati plus 118. Cincinnati, Milwaukee over 9.5, and that Mets Cubs over 9 I like quite a bit as well. I'll throw Tampa Bay in there too because I do think I like the spot and I like Morton's chances of maybe stopping this losing skid for the Rays. CFL, nothing official. Like I say, the unders move too much. I can't recommend that now. Maybe a little lean to Saskatchewan plus the points in that CFL game. So there you go. That's my opinions for the card tonight.
I love it. I love it. Would you say with that under on the Rays A's, would you prefer that first 5 than full game? It's 4 first 5, 7.5 full game.
I would do what I'm going to do is I'm going to put half on the full game, half on the first 5, because the bullpens, especially Tampa's, they've really hit the skids the last little bit. So I'm going to split it up, half on the full game, half first 5.
Beautiful stuff. There's our guy, Babano. And can you mention just your weekend shows quickly?
Yeah, we'll be on Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern with Ski Profit and Drew Martin. The closing line, it's not NBA closing line anymore. It's all sports, whatever's going on that day. It'll be MLB. There's a CFL game, which I'll be at, Ticats and Argos. I'm looking forward to that. And WNBA, Ski Profit's great with that. So tune us in on Saturday morning. We'll break down the sports betting card every Saturday with Ski and Drew.
Oh, I love it. There's our guy, Babano, in the house, joining us every Thursday. I'm on the Astros first 5 at plus 137. I'm on the Angels first 5 minus a half at minus 115 and minus 1.5 at plus 105, and the first 5 over 5.5 at minus 119. And the Angels have been feeding me all week, hammering against those Jays. And then I'm on the Reds Brewers first 5 over 5.5 at minus 106. And I'm going to decide exactly how to handle Mets Cubs. A ton of you guys are on the over, and it makes a ton of sense, but I'm just a little hesitant to make a move at this point. I don't know exactly why. I'm on the Giants first 5 plus a half at plus 110, and the first 5 under 4 at minus 110. That's my action as of now. Also, I'm on the over 43.5 in the CFL, and I may make a move on the Mystics at plus 5. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to our guest, Babano. We have a big late show where Dave Mason will be joining us from Bet Online to talk about the NBA draft props. We will also have Anna Merrick breaking down UFC. That's in North Carolina. I believe it's North Carolina this week. All you guys, thank you so much for watching. Let's have a very productive afternoon and come hammer this late show. Thank you to Babano. Leche. Hey, los bookmakers!